We had a great time at Preston's birthday party up there in Stratford, Missouri. We had the truck together just enough to make the display, and that little kid was over the moon, was so happy to do it. I think we had just as much fun as he did. Jason, thanks again for having us up there. We owed you one, and we were happy to do it. But it's Monday, and we got to get back to work. I have the steering ram to rebuild. I have 2 more mounts to put on the front steering ram, so hopefully this doesn't happen again. I have drive shaft loops to make. I have a little bit of engine tuning to do because somewhere we lost some idle. I'm not sure if there's more water in the fuel from that cell or what, or maybe my idle screw just idled loose. I don't know, we'll have to check it out. But other than that, brakes are working good. Truck's running decent. Still got to replace the tail shaft housing. And I did notice that the passenger side, I don't know if you can see it. Check this out. The passenger side front wheel gained a little negative camber. It used to be about positive 1 degree, and now I'm about negative 1.5 degrees. And that means that the kingpin's bent. So I'm afraid if I air this thing out one more time, something bad's going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and replace the champagne on the end of the axle and fix that. We should have that all buttoned up by Indy. That's about it. The rest of the truck is doing pretty good. Everything's all back together. I got a surprise for the Monster Truck Museum Hall of Fame banquet. We're going to bring the hot rod this year. We finally got dependable transportation. But I got something up my sleeve for that I think everybody's going to like. Anyway, it's time to get back to work. You know, I often say that I got to work twice as hard to get half as much done. Here's an example why. I had to rebuild the steer cylinder because I bent one of the pistons in the cylinder. So everything's going pretty smooth. The ram's coming apart. Seals are in good shape. It all looks pretty straightforward. I had a bucket underneath the ram because I bolted it to the truck thinking that the clamps holding it to the truck will hold it still enough that I can mess with the end of the ram. I was right. It worked out great. But as I pulled the ram out, it slipped out of my hands because it was oily, and then launched my bucket of oil all over the driveway, me, the deck, the welder, my impact, everything. That's old school monster life. When you work in a driveway, this is the crap you got to deal with. I did get the cylinder done. Everything's back together. The steering is race ready and ready to rock and roll. But we made a mess. See, there's the new steering cylinder setup. Now it's got 4 clamps, so it shouldn't break ever again. New ram in it, so it's nice and straight. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but all this schmeggin oil all over the deck. It's all over my welder, all over the impact. It is what it is. At least I got my steering ready to rock and roll. So the only thing I have left to do for Indy is tail shaft housing, drive shaft loops, put yet another RII in it. That is it. That is it. And I still got a month left to go. I can start working on that other surprise for the Hall of Fame. We're working on the drive shaft cages now. Ran into some problems with the set of headers that I have. I thought they were going to work.
but they don't. The primary tubes are just too big, and I'll actually lose performance if I try to put them on the truck. So I actually have to go buy another set of headers, and there's other issues too. So the gist of it is, we're not going to be where I want it to be for Indy and Princeton. I might have to bag the exhibition at Indy so I am able to perform at 100% at Princeton, but right now we're just trying to get through because, well, we're out of money. That's all there is to it. It's the end of the year. We broke a lot of stuff on the truck, and we gotta try to run it like a business now and keep everything rolling. So here's where we're at. You can kind of see in the background, we've been having a lot of rain lately. So I rigged this mess up so I don't get wet working on the truck. It's what we have to do. There's no budget, so we're at the end of our line. Just a few more shows left in the year. Hopefully we can get through them and start fresh next year.
This will be one of the rotators. This goes over the yoke on the drop box, and this here ring spins so as the suspension articulates, you know, that loop won't bind up. And then on the other side it's got a slider, so as the suspension flexes, we can have that cage get longer and shorter, so again it doesn't bind up. So we're almost done with that. It's Sunday. The pieces will be here tomorrow and I can finish the cages, but I got to get back to cutting and grinding and welding and finish what I can of the pieces, so when tomorrow rolls around I can finish putting the cages together, get everything painted, and then I got to see about getting the truck turned up, because the drive to Indiana is going to suck if that truck doesn't go over 65. Well, I wanted to give you an update here where we're at. Mosquitoes are driving me nuts, but we have 3 more days till Indy. I had 2 weeks of not working on the truck because I was getting some other stuff done, so that put me behind. The only thing I'm going to be able to do for Indy is to maybe get the drive shaft loops in it, and even at that, man, I don't know. It's taken me way too long to get this stuff working. I can at least do a display. If they want me to, I can run the flag out for the flag ceremonies, but that's it. I'm not gonna run it Indy. There's just no way. I'm gonna hurt the truck, and I have to have this thing at 100% when I hit Princeton in 2 weeks. So that's where we're at. I'm trying to get the drive shaft loops built. It's a little bit more complicated on a monster truck because you have to build a cage around the drive shaft that floats with the suspension. So let me show you how that works. That is one end, and this is called the rotator because that thing will rotate around as the suspension twists and flex side to side. That will move. And then up here, it's huge because the yoke on a 5-ton is 8 inches in diameter. So we have to use a 10-inch ring, which gives us about 1 inch of clearance all the way around. Let's see a good shot of that. Anyway, and now what goes in the middle there is this cage. I still have to cut it to length, put the ends on it, and then once that's set up, I'm going to go back and weld gussets around this tube on both sides, and then I can put rod ends on each end, and and I'll have one end slides and the other end rotates, and we should be ready to rock and roll for the drive shaft loop. Then I got to build another one. This is why I say it's a problem, because that took me 3 days. Everything I just showed you on the drive shaft loop has taken me about 3 days so far. Just because every time I tried to start, I got hung up doing something else, or something happened and I didn't have the right materials or whatever. So now I have 2 days to get everything done. Man, I just don't see it. We'll try. My health ain't the greatest. I gotta keep taking breaks because my hands are hurting, my back's hurting, my neck's hurting. Yeah. I'm doing the best I can, guys, but I'm by myself. Well, I'm calling it. We're not going to be ready to run at Indy. There's just too much to do. I'm out of time. I'm out of money. We'll be there, but it's just going to be a display for the Museum and Hall of Fame. We're going to try to plug the banquet as much as we can. Try to bring some awareness to the old school movement. But this is where we landed so far. I just don't have the money to get the rest of the stuff I need for the drive shaft loops. I don't have the time to do it. I just can't. So here's where I landed. I got the yoke shields on the front, and there's the rotator and shield in the back, but no cage. I need tube adapters for the rod ends. I don't have the money to get them. Even if I did, I just don't have the time to build the rest of them. And in the back, I didn't even get that far. I got the rotator built, but I don't have any of the mounting stuff made yet, so I can't put it on. And the shield in the back is cut, but it's not welded together. It's just sitting there. So I'll finish that up tomorrow. I'll try to get the rotator mounted, so I'll have everything but the cages done. But that's it. That's what happens when I work by myself with little to no money and no help. That's just a sad reality of it all. I try my best, but sometimes we fall short. First thing Thursday morning, we're gonna jump in the truck here and head on down the road and get to Indy tomorrow night, tire up and be set up for Friday morning. The guy that was supposed to buy the Impala spaced on me again, so money's kind of tight until Friday. But we're gonna be there. Not gonna be able to do the exhibition, at least not that I'm aware of. But we'll be there. We'll do the display for the Museum and Hall of Fame, and we'll have some fun. Suspension looks good. The mosquitoes are killing me here. Chassis looks great, but you know, it's easy for it to look great when it gets completely redone every month. But we're ready to rock and roll. I don't have the drive shaft loops completed, but the yoke shields are in, so that's something. I got the rubber mounts underneath the radio, so hopefully the RII stays alive this time. All I got to do is air up the tires, chain the truck down, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Going eastbound. My foot's on the floor because that's all I got. So I'm eastbound and down. Thinking about you, Bert. Long, boring trip with no radio and 62 miles an hour. But we're doing it. It's going to take us a minute to get there, but we'll get there. Well, we're in St. Louis. Road construction sucks. I got every other bridge blocked off. I'm switching back and forth. Wait. Gotta love driving a monster truck. Here's what we're playing with. just past the sign back there. This feels like an accident. We are stopped in traffic. Nope. More construction. 7-mile backup because I got it down into one lane. Way to go, Indiana. Got here about 10 o'clock last night, local time. We're all set up. We got the truck tired up. Jeff Cook showed up with the museum. We're parked next to him. And we got him tired up, and James McLean with the little one ride truck. He's going to be here today too. Hopefully we'll see John Nowacki with Mud Monster 3, his new truck. So we're just waiting for the fun to get started. Got some cleaning to do, and throughout the day we'll do a little bit of video snippets of everything that's going down. But yep, we're here. There's Jeff's truck, Hot Rod Harry. Sergeant Smash monster truck, piloted by the talented Mr. Brock. Bigfoot's here, Raminator's here, General Tire truck's here. Everybody getting ready for the day. Let the games begin.